Hello, my Indian name is Firewalker, a name given to me because I'm one who uses fire as a method of healing and a tool for teaching. The most important purpose of this Native American purification sweat rite, before they do any other ceremony, they'll do this ceremony. It's to cleanse themselves, mind, body, and soul. It goes to pray to the Creator, in a form of thanking Him for all the things that He's given to him, for his life, for his sharing his relatives with him and his loved ones, the sharing of the sky and the earth and all the animals upon it, all the plants and the trees upon it. This land that we do the sweats on is in a beautiful area located upstate New York. This all takes place on this farm that belongs to my parents. It's about 150 years old, and it's in a beautiful setting up in the top of a valley in a mountain. As we're looking down toward the west side of it, where the mountains begin to come into view. And also, as we're panning, that is the way the river flows. One of the things you see them doing now is clearing up an area that we've used before as the sweat. And it's grown over a little bit, so they have to clean it up and get the grass out and some of the weeds, because we'll be sitting on that green grass. The gentleman you see going in there now, Mr. Klein, they're cleaning the dirt out of the pit, which represents the universe. As they take that dirt out, that dirt will be mounded in the out front of the doorway, as you see coming out. And it will end up at a point which becomes the altar. You'll see him start to mound that dirt up, and that will become the altar. That's the good earth and the path back to the universe, or back to the Creator. What you see them doing here is cleaning out that fire pit. They'll be putting rocks and lining rocks along the edge of it, just making sure in generally it's cleaned out. It's a very important thing to keep the rocks from the earth itself. You see, you just pull out the snake from that pit. That was his new home, and that to us is a good sign. The snake is one of the creation's beings, one of our relations. To the Indians, it represents power in the circle of life. Native Americans, the United States represents Turtle Island to them. That's what they call the United States, Turtle Island, because it's the way it geographically looks to them. The center of that pit in there where the rocks are going to go will symbolically represent the beginning, the ethereal fire, or the primal fire from whence everything came from to start. The sweat lodge is a true and pure ceremony and ritual, and one that certainly has withstood the test of time and works for everyone regardless of beliefs. And it certainly helps everyone in their spiritual growth and brings us closer to the world of spirit and the Creator. And not everyone up here is Indian, and you don't have to be Indian to enjoy the benefits of the sweat lodge. We have to make it as dark as possible on the inside. This thing sits in a sunny field, and in the broad daylight, in the middle of the day, with all the coverings on it, when you're inside, we're not finished until you can actually not see your hand in front of your face. It's pitch black on the inside. And we use tarps, blankets. We also have to use these to keep the heat in, so we try to use as many things as possible. In the older days, and the Native Americans, of course, use blankets and hides from the buffalo. When they got through with their structure, the actual wall might have been up to almost a foot thick. But today it's not what we use. We use canvas and the black plastic, a little away from the tradition, but there's no place to go out and get buffalo hides today. And of course we don't want to do that because we're trying to get them back, not get rid of them any more than the white man's destroyed the herds of buffalo already. As you can see, this is really a beautiful place that we have the opportunity to use here. It's right up there with the sky. What we're doing now is we're trying to tack this down. It gets a little windy over here. We're in a valley, and the wind does flow through there pretty good. So what we have to do is, after we put some of the coverings on, we have to start tying it down to prevent the actual things from being blown off or lifting as we're doing the ceremony. So what we're doing is we're just basically staking it into the ground and securing the top down tight. What you see them doing here is bringing rocks up from the river, which are going to be placed around the edge of the tops also to help keep the light from showing on it. Those are not rocks that we use in the sweat lodge. Those rocks are very sacred and very special, and they're not handled in that manner. She just came out of the lodge to make sure it was completely dark on the inside. What I'm doing here is starting to set up the altar. I'm laying a blanket that I use in most of my ceremonies down first on top of the dirt between two stakes you see sitting there, and the buffalo skull is placed on top of it also. I'm also putting on it other objects that are important to myself as far as power objects, sacred objects, things that have deep meaning to me that were either given to me as gifts. The altar is also the place that the pipe goes on. Now there are other objects now, once I've set the altar up, that people can put their items on, crystals or things that hold a deep meaning to them. Not eyeglasses or eyeglass cases or wallets and things like that, but something of a very personal and a very sacred nature to them. It's a place that'll be able to draw energy from the inside of the lodge, and they'll be able to take it away with them and always have a connection with that sweat lodge. At times they might need to have a place to go to in a quiet time. One of the things that's important to know is that the preparation of the sweat itself is just as important as doing the sweat. As I'm beginning to do the things that I have to do, I'm opening up doors in my mind, preparing my mind mentally for what's going to take place. The sage is passed around to every participant to be smudged with. And this is really an extremely important part. This smudging can also be used by people at any time, even in their own homes. If they wish to clean their rooms out every single day, they could use sage also.
Hot rocks! Hot rocks, we go. Hot rock. Hot rock coming in. This one's smiling.
The doorway is raised after each session is finished, and air is allowed to circulate, and water, of course, is brought in, or something else takes place. But it was 4 separate, distinct sessions, and like I said, we do them this way. We do them where you come out and or immediately plunge into the cold water, or douse yourself down with the cold water. Which brings me to an important point. One thing to remember is the way Native American Indians thought about waste. And so what a great way to get clean, using just a small amount of water for steam to promote a deep cleansing of the pores of the skin, and then using the natural soaps to wash with, and then a quick dip in the river, or even pouring cold water over them. So they've wasted very little water, and that was an important point to them also. Again, I must say, too, that, of course, when the Native Americans just used the sweat lodge just for that particular purpose, for sweating and cleaning, of course, it was just done basically in probably 1 session. And, of course, the time of that session took according to how much they felt they wanted to stay in. When we do them, sometimes they can last up to, the whole ceremony can last up to almost 4 hours long. Or we've done them where they've lasted up to 4 hours. One more important thing that we do on these during these sessions is invoking the power of prayer and of one's intentions together with the intentions of those present. A very important part of this. Before we do anything in the sweat, actually during the sessions, we do prayer first. And the first type of praying we do is to thank the Creator, the great mystery, for all that He has shared with us and given us. And at that point there, we can go on to then asking the next one of the next sessions in our prayers, asking for the help of someone other than ourselves, and asking for some sort of healing or help to another person that might be in need of something. And then last and but nothing but least is what we ask for ourselves. We pray ourselves for something that you might want from the Creator, maybe a prayer to ask for Him to help you become a more fulfilling human being.